Hey, should we make like a contest if someone can guess where this spot is located?
Yeah.
I don't know what the prize would be.
I don't think you'll be able to guess it. Don't show my butt.
It's not so bad. Wait for me, wait for me.
Wait.
Damn bugs. Lots of trees. Hey, you're blocking my shot. Again. Right. Pretty good stuff, right? Ready? Oh. It's fast. You can go. You know? Okay. Hey, switch. You getting this one?
I need to stop.
There you go. See if you can see the lake and stuff. Let me zoom in. Lake. Go on. And look at paramilitary 2 and tweezers. And then the survival keychain. There's a Neptune dog. Can't get across that gap. So, anyway, welcome to Neptune Knives. So, today I'm very excited to do this video because I've had a lot of people ask me, what is my then top favorite 3? And of course, my top favorite 3 is going to change over time probably. But as of right now, based off of the knives I've come across, this is what my top 3 would be. And let's see. So to start with, first of course, number 1 is safety. When you're in a high stress situation, you can make mistakes, you can not pay attention. Last thing you want to do is get injured. So all the safety features that you can get in a knife, choils, secondary lock mechanisms, you take it if you can. But we're looking for 4 things when you are choosing a knife that you would say like is the ultimate tactical knife in terms of survival, fighting, whatever you may need, defense, etc. And it makes an acronym. It's kind of cheesy, but it's DARE, D-A-R-E. Okay, and you basically kind of like when you see a knife, you could say, does this knife dare to go the distance? I know it's cheesy, okay, but regardless, you're looking for durability, like the everything aspect of it. The lock durability, of how long it can last, the screw durability, the steel durability, everything about it, how durable, how long it's going to last you. Next thing would be adaptability, its ability to, suit different situations, different environments, different, for example, if the knife can be used when wet, if the knife was in outdoors, indoors, you were in different situations, how the knife could adapt to that. And then reliability, of course, you want it to be reliable. And then ease of maintenance, okay, or easy. So you want durability, adaptability, reliability, and easy. Okay, easy maintenance, easy lock, easy grip, easy deployment. You know what I mean? You get the idea. Okay, so now to re-emphasize this, I always tell people, okay, look, the best knife is the knife that you carry every day and you use all the time, the one you're familiar with. Okay, it isn't necessarily this. If you're gonna get this knife, I might say a certain knife is the best knife. Okay, but if you don't use it, then you're not familiar with it. And in a situation where things are unfamiliar, it helps to have things that are on you that you are familiar with, that you don't have to suddenly learn how to maintain or use, or etc. And no surprises. Okay, and why a folder? Okay, my 3 are folders. And all the ones I consider are folders. And you might say like, why then Striders? The military, the SOCOM wants Striders, folders, SMFs. Why the SEALs were all about Emersons and stuff. And the reason is a couple reasons. And these are not all the reasons, but you could say that everything's in one spot. It's all in one package. the speed of your ability to close it, put it away, because you got to keep your hands free. When you're in situations, you need your hands free. That's always important. So you don't know if you fall, if whatever it may be. You want if you hop over a fence, you got to put your knife away. You got to put it away fast. But when the pocket clips, usually knives that clip, you can clip anywhere. Also, there's no straps or clips or Velcro. So for example, if you needed to deploy your knife quietly, if you have a fixed blade and you unstrap it or unclip it and it makes a noise, that doesn't really help. But if you have a folder, you can, see I opened it and without any noise. So it's silent. Next thing too, it's space saving. Everything's more compact and all in one spot. Now, when looking at this, this doesn't always mean, of course, what I'm saying is the best knife, maybe of quality or everything else, but the thing is very strict. For me, it has to be very strict requirements that the knife has to meet. And so now we're going to look into that, and Mel's going to help me hold the camera. Okay, so, under lock method, first the lockup. You could look at, of course, you want reliability, but again, just remember that DARE acronym. What I'm just going to say is all the different type of locks I've encountered, how I would rate them. My favorite first. So my first favorite is going to be a frame lock. Now, you might say, why is my Strider in a pouch? Because this one is in my backpack. And if I do get wet, I keep it in a water-resistant pouch to help, because last thing I need is my tools in my bag to rust. So frame lock, okay. Now a lot of people, the frame lock, what makes it good is that there's a large contact portion, basically a large surface. Think of like a car with large tires, like a racing car. Grips the back of the blade tank. So frame locks are versatile for against dynamic force. Like if you are hitting things, slashing things in self-defense situations, those kind of tactical situations, they handle that force well. For example, perhaps against a spine whack or something. And plus your grip helps it so that if the lock does, how you say, break off break from the blade tang, like a car would lose contact with the street, you're holding it, so it kind of keeps it. So they're very stable for that. And plus, they're also very low maintenance, especially if they're made with titanium. You don't have to worry about dealing with maintenance at all, because the open construction, it just makes life easy outdoors. That always makes them very reliable, because, Strider talks about that too. The frame locks tend to, when they get dirty, when they lock, they still lock up because they push that dirt aside. And preferably, I would like one with a stabilizer disc because of the hard use aspect. Okay. Second to me would then be the bolt or axis lock. And you saw bolt locks did pretty well despite dirt and axis locks. When I did that little test around the lake, go watch that video. And they're very durable compared to compression lock, because a compression lock is just a fine liner, like Mel's. Where's the military deer? Like Mel's compression lock, where you saw how the liner could get bent. This is more durable, so it follows that idea. They're very reliable. They're good around the elements. If you saw, they're fast to deploy. They're good with gloves. To operate with gloves. Same thing with the frame locks. And basically, it's a stronger, more durable, long-lasting version of compression lock. The only thing it sucks is because of maintenance, perhaps, especially with a bolt lock. They're bringing these stainless steel parts inside. Water is no big deal, but when you get dirt and not running water and you get a little bit wet, the good thing you can take it apart. And I like the bolt lock because the spring you can replace by just packing a pen with you. Third favorite then would be compression lock, like the Para 2 or the Super Leaf, things like that. But the thing is, it doesn't last well under hard use. So, you saw how it got bent right there and kind of actually damaged. So, if you're going to baton, of course, disengage it. But, these work well with gloves too. Very much more maintenance, which is good. If they were titanium or steel, you pick and choose. The titanium won't cause maintenance issues, but it sucks because it'll wear out even faster. And but they're good because they're less likely to disengage when you're holding them. And you saw the durability of them. But I still put them below bolts because I like the strength overall, that durability. And then next would be a strong, short, thin liner lock. Now this is not the best example. The best example perhaps was that Be Ambitious or some of the other ones I've shown, but a thick liner lock that's short and strong, you go watch those videos. And I like it because the G10's there to keep the liner from bending out, bending right here at that stress point. And again, you pick steel or titanium, like Emerson will choose titanium liners because, when you're outdoors around the environment, you want, less maintenance. That goes under the ease. But at the same time, it loses durability. So I prefer still a stainless steel one, but just depends on the knife, perhaps, you know. I mean, it depends on the thickness of the lock, the liner lock and stuff. I mean, just basically, you know, these two start to lose their durability and, you know, their strength overall in terms of not strength of locking and not failing. I'm talking about strength of like lasting, you know. Okay, and then getting damaged. And then would be a triad lock, or which I don't have one right now here. But I don't like them because, again, what happens is they're not as versatile. They're very reliable in terms of strength, but in terms of like jamming and stuff, they just don't fit outdoors. And like I said, that's probably why you don't see military or SEALs use those. And you know, they're higher maintenance. You hear like how difficult it is to get it out. You have to take apart an knife apart possibly if you don't have running water. And it's the key thing, running water. And then of course 6 is backlock, because you saw these just don't do well, and then again they fail. But backlocks are good with gloves, so you know they could kind of you know, if it's a knife you're going to pack in your backpack to use is for like a backup, then it's okay. Now, grip, you know, the handle, ergos, okay. So this time we're going to go through the DARE acronym, okay? First you got, for durability, I would choose first, you know, of course, well, all titanium construction would be best, you know, like a custom, because titanium's really well. Hardened titanium, then normal titanium. Then I would say G10 over FRN, and then I would choose FRN actually over carbon fiber, because carbon fiber tends to easily break on you know, chips and stuff if you drop it and stuff. So that's how that would go for that. The adaptability, well, you want to look at, can you grip it with gloves, you know, if your hands are wet, if they're bloody, you know, basically, can you choke up on it, you know, for that versatility, you know, or can you hold far back for reach, you know, and that's something, you know, for grip, those are important aspects, because the main thing is to consider this is, your hands may not be wet, you may not be wearing gloves, but if you are wearing, if say for example that situation were to arise, you know, and even if it didn't, knowing that if you can hold it securely when wet, and then your hands are always dry, of course, there's less chance your hand's going to slip, especially when dry. And then, let's see, for the R, for the E's, of course, you want the easy unlocking, you know. You want the grip to be easy to unlock, easy to hold. Of course, there's a bulk, preferably somewhere back here, near the choil. You know, and this is why I prefer stage 3 over stage 2, because there's a grip that maintains here, kind of like the M1. But also, you know, it sits in your palm. That's an important aspect. So the grip isn't focused only on, and you'll see that, like on the M1, for example, there's not much here. Like Mel's paramilitary too, you know, which is not, yeah, it's a runner-up to the top 3, because see, it's mostly reliant on these fingers gripping it to keep it from sliding, while on the Sage, it's reliant on those fingers and it being pushed into your palm, just like the Tazula, it sits in your palm, and just like my other third one. So, you know, it's not just dependent on one aspect. Also, you know, for example, let's see, deep choils, you know, choils are good, you know, cutouts, whatever, beveling, all this helps, you know, the slopes to create, like, you know, ramps, jimping, all those aspects, you know, you're looking for. And flippers. Now flippers, I should have brought it, but a flipper is not always guaranteed. For example, an M1 when wet, your finger can slide right past the flipper. A flipper has to be very, very, very curved in like that to really catch your finger. And even then, this is wet. You know, if your hand's wet, slippery, I mean, it's slippery because it's not. And you can see, like here on the Fox Deimos, they add that extreme jimping. You know, this just catches. You know, and then so does the Hinder. So the Hinder does a good job, but not all flippers guarantee. You know, you have to look at how steep that flipper comes around, and you want a knife probably that doesn't only fully rely on the flipper. You probably still want something like a Hinder without the flipper will be still functional. If you grip, I mean, the grip of your hand on all this ergonomics and jimping still do the job. The flipper's extra, you know, and so that's something to consider too. Now, in terms of deployment, okay, of course you want, again, you know, you want durability. Well, I couldn't, you know, not too much for that, but let's talk about like adaptability. Okay, again with gloves, you know, can you flick open the knife with gloves on? Can you close the glove? If you're injured, you have different options for deploying it, you know. And like I said, you know, you can wave it by attaching a little zip tie. You can use perhaps a flipper, you know. You have, you can. I like the method of like shaking it out, and I like. And you saw in the previous section, and of course you can flick it. You know, variety of ways to open the knife, so that if you know something, for example, you hurt your thumb, you hurt, you know, whatever it may be, a variety is what you're looking at. Again, I told you if you watch my tactical favorite video, I prefer first the down up method, okay, shaking it, and then I prefer, you know, waving is cool. and the rest of them, follow. And then reliability, of course, deployment is you don't want to jam, so like an axis lock did very well. This bolt lock is okay, decent. Some crud can get in there, but it tends to move stuff out of the way. If you just, frame locks are very good for that, of course. For example, and also, of course, the deployment would look into the detent. You want it to be safe, and you don't want like nonsense like an extra locking mechanism like some of those Kershaws, because what if you accidentally disengage or actually engage that, and then you try to deploy your knife? The safety's blocking it, and you didn't know or you forgot. I mean, that's that stuff. Just a good detent is more important. So basically, just look for easy deployment. Next aspect would be maintenance. Okay, you want, of course, under durability, you want good quality hardware. If you can get it hardened, if you get it, for example, steel over titanium perhaps is more durable. Of course, the larger screw sizes help. This is small. This is a decent size on these Sages. Teflon washers, of course, on Hinders and on the, I think the DPX. Don't quote me on that. When they use the Teflon washers, Teflon has a high heat resistance. So of course, being a firefighter rig Hinder, these knives, the Teflon, you can, when Strider, goes for phosphor bronze, I prefer just having metal there, because when it comes to debris and stuff, you want that durability of a phosphor bronze. Maintenance, okay, like adaptability, for example, like, you could say, well, like, okay, on the Deimos, if you took off these wooden parts, you could still use it as a knife with just a skeletonized handle. You could turn to a cheesy liner frame lock, adaptability in terms of like, the spring being able to replace with a pen spring, screws being able to like the pot clip screws of being the same as the handle screws, or these all being interchangeable, like a Sage, and I'll tell you Mel's EDC in a second how you can switch parts around. That adaptability is good. Reliable, of course, you just want reliable construction, and that is something you look at, of course, the company, etc. And and then ease of maintenance. Well, for example, Strider's open females means that if rust really did form, you can basically clean all the way through into the screw to get it, the female, to get it clean. That's genius. This Spyderco Sage, you unscrew the screw, 2 screws go into a tube, so if you had to clean the tube out, you could. And when you unscrew one side, you can lift it and still keep the knife together and clean one side and then put it back and then put those 3 screws back, as opposed to having a female slide out like a Sebenza. And then you have to hold everything, or you have to make sure you're not affecting the side that has the female, because those are holding everything together. Less tools required. 1 screw size for all of this. 1 Strider's tool for all this. Heck, put the tools attached on the lanyard. This one is in her backpack. Like I said, less tools, less parts. The Deimos has brass tubes inside there, so those won't rust, and the screws screw into the brass. Can you clean it without water? Preferably, is always important. When you don't have water. And last thing, okay, and the steel, for the steel of the knife, of course, you're looking again for, durability and adaptability has to depend on your environment. I have this rule that there's always got to be 1 tool steel and 1 outdoor steel. CPM 154, N690 CO, VG10 or something, does well outdoors. And then you look at perhaps indoors, you want, M4, even CTS 20CP, some kind of heavy-duty steel, 9V, 3V, something like that will get you through something more extreme. But those knives, I tend to don't mind them being more compact, because that starts to get towards being a tool. So my top 3, if you can see them right here, these are the top 3 of my favorite right here. And we got the Sage 3 bolt lock, and but you have to modify it by adding something so you can easily grip it. Okay, pull it out of your pocket. And then this is like what I would use perhaps for self-defense. And this is a Nepal, but this is the Boca production version. I'm still waiting on it. Martin Knives in Texas makes the custom version, where mine is it's bee-blasted, all titanium frame lock, and the blade and screws and everything are gun-coated, and the blade is 3V. And I'm going to get them to make a 9V version at some point in time. So I have like a compact little multi-tool, basically tool steel on me with a chisel grind that can basically, this thing can do a lot, and this is just 440C, so the real thing is just ridiculous, and it doesn't fall out because it clips in so many places, on your belt straps, anywhere, and then of course my Trezula Strider, which is right here, and you can get this on when they make the production version, but this of course is custom. And actually since I don't have this right now, this Strider SNG, which is sort of like, you could trade off, you'll see when I talk about Runnerups. this is the same thing because, you know, a small cutting edge, you know, it's not meant for tactical use. You follow up on that, like on my other videos, but, you know, it's got lots of grip positions to do some kind of work. Same thing, chisel grind, tool steel. Now, in all fairness, I can see how this can be tough because you're looking at this knife is in 1,000 plus. This is a combination of a custom S&G, and note, you know, that's, you want to get, we'll talk about that, but a custom S&G, steel, and then a normal S&G handle, and then of course a Sage. And I understand that can get pretty expensive, but we'll go through first the large tactical. Okay, under large tactical, Tazula. Why is because it's got bevels and choils. Okay, I like the blade shape, you know, the worn clip for the reach. It's got reach. The steel, CPM 154, versatile. It's 154 cm, sorry. So it's versatile. I don't mind the graininess. The screws, gun coil, less maintenance. It's got the stabilizer. The lock durability is done right. You know, it's got good versatility for the lock. The clip is very, very, very strong and hard to pull it out of your pocket. And that's the important thing. I don't want to lose my knife. It works with gloves and it's easy to deploy. You know, you can. Okay, runner-ups would be the Deimos, the Fox Deimos. Pros. It's got the brass tubes inside. It's got the spacer for more rigidity. You get the tactical version where everything's coated in black. You don't have to worry about rust. It's got the secondary lock feature, so it doesn't disengage. And then we already know that based on it, it just bends in if it does. It's got good steel, corrosion resistant N690CO, which people really need to start looking into this steel because this steel is awesome. I mean, it honestly is. It's like a beefier, tougher, edge retention version of VG10. The deployment, it has the option to wave it, to flipper it, to shake it open, you know. It does all that. And the screws are all you can use one tool to deal with all the screws, which is great. The cons, some smaller phosphor bronze washers in there. I wish they were a little bit bigger. There's no stabilizer disc, of course. And the EDC use is not as good. And the clip is not perhaps as, you know, strong as I would like. You know, but the grips and ergos, you know, is good. And noteworthy to mention would be an XM24. And why I say the Hinder XM24 is because it's a little bit better with gloves on. For people who don't know, you know, if you do have gloves, you know, and you're like a firefighter or something, you know, that's why the flipper versions go so fast. You know, if you're in more modern settings, then it's okay, but it's easier to operate a Hinder with when you have 3.5 inch when you have flippers. XM24 makes that life easier. Problems, well, I only mentioned the problems would be just, you know, the cons would be maybe the Teflon washers. This is more of a tactical style, so it's not really meant for like running through woods and stuff because it's slippery size, slippery clip. Then it's got soft hardware because Hinder doesn't seem to harden his hardware down, and there's no coating either, so that can possibly lead to rust. And then looks like this is just a male and female also actually. And then the steel CTS20CP is just kind of an, I don't know, like a comparable to D2. It's just kind of not really that special to me. You know, D2's, you look at D2, custom knife makers like Mr. Martin and stuff will tell me get the S30 at least, or S35, because it's legitimately better in all categories over D2. I mean, just look at it. So D2 or CTS XHP is just not so great. It's kind of soft. Okay, next thing, mid-size. Here comes the Sage 3. Sage 3, why? Because it's durable lock, easy deployment, complete grip. I mean, wet, dry, you know, it's got a solid grip on it, whether you're holding it acting like this, whatever. It's got good grip. And the S30V, you know, like I said, if you know your steel, I'm comfortable with all my testing of S30's abilities. And I'll choose over D2. Now, the runner-up would do the Paramilitary 2. Pros, well, this is the Paramilitary 2 with a CTS 20CP sprint run blade steel in it. And that's because this is like pushing towards tool steel, but stainless minus the toughness. I don't care, you know, it's cutting anyway. The hardware is all pretty good quality. Screw size is a decent screw size. Phosphor bronze washers. Pivot doesn't need no Loctite because of the way the pivot's designed. Those are pros. The cons, you deployment, you have to flick it open, and you have to, or you can wave it. You can't really shake it. You know, it's not that versatile, I would say. And then the lock durability, of course, you saw what could happen. And the grip, it's not really in the palm, it's more with the fingers. And so when wet, it's a little bit not as easy. With gloves, it's still good enough, but again, not as easy. And then noteworthy to mention would be a Hinder XM18. And I would choose this over a DPX steel because DPX, if you look at the flaws of DPX, it would be perhaps the D2 steel, the Teflon washers. Don't quote me on that part still. The lock bar not being made, you know, professionally, you know, like done the right, you know, the best way. And the slippery clip. When you look at the XM18, same thing, steel and Teflon, slippery clip. But the XM18 has, you can shake it open, you know, it's hard to do with my left hand, you know, and then, you know, it's more durable because of the lock. So, you know, overall, XM18, good runner-up, the noteworthy mention, okay? And then last thing would be a compact. Okay, here's Nepal. Now I'm talking about Nepal custom is the way to go because you got the tool steel, you got the clip anywhere, all titanium construction, hardened hardware, durability. I mean, it's basically just it's like a pocket survival tool, always on your neck or on your belt or anywhere you want, and it's very discreet, and it does function the same way. A lot of jimping to hold and stay into your palm. And especially if you get coating, all low maintenance. And these are also 2 screws that go into a tube, so you can clean it out. Now, noteworthy to mention, again, say for example, an SNG, good everything, good parts and hardware. I mean, only the cons of SNG is perhaps not very tactical. Perhaps the lock can wear out. Some issues on that. But I mean, like I said, that depends. I mean, I carry the SNG, and then. Noteworthy to mention, not really worth, but a Delica with ZDP, just because you're getting that type of steel, all the flaws that go with it, you already know. The point is, though, just at the compact size level, to get tool steels or special steels is very difficult. So you're looking at like Strider is the only one that offers such a thing, or or the ZDP blades, or these customs. Now, as for basically my top favorite 3. And these runner-ups are basically Mel and mine are EDCs. So my EDC are these right here. These 3. You're not in focus, Mel. And then Mel's EDCs are the Deimos, the Sage 3 also, and the Nepal. And so you can see Mel carries a tool steel on her. I carry tool steel on me. Let's see. That way. I carry a tool steel on me. We both carry Sage 3s because of their easy use and deployment, and then our big knives have those features. Now, in terms of adaptability, I have backup screws and parts with this, and the same tool deals with these 2. Mel has backup parts and screws because of these 2, using the same tool, one tool, and same screws. And then Mel's, for me, my extra tool is only one small little tool on my keychain for this. And then again, Mel only has to then attach her tools onto this, which goes in her bag. So, or this goes in her bag. So if you look at that, those are our EDCs, our big knife, our mid-size knife, the Sage, and then our more compact tool style knives. And preferably, I would still prefer this to be flame so it would grip a little bit better. But those are them. My top 3: Tazula Strider. They'll be in production, hopefully. The Sage 3. And my custom steel Strider SNG. Mel's top 3: Fox Deimos with a all the coating, not this one. And then the Sage 3, and then the custom Nepal with a tool steel on it. So it's tool steels, etc. Okay, thank you for tuning in and watching, and I hope this video was enjoyable. And thank you for always your support. And keep asking me any questions you guys want.
Bye.